Sloss and Humphries on the road.
Muggins and cream, cream and muggins, straight thuggin', living the dream.
That's our intro.
Fucking muggles.
Tickling the clit inside your head to me.
Merry New Year.
Aye.
Hungover? Big
still?
one? No, did you not keep it going?
No.
It's bank holiday?
We got drunk, and I think I got drunker than I thought I got, because so we weren't having a big one because it's because we're all in our 30s.
You've got a pregnant fiancée.
Yes.
Heavily pregnant fiancée, and recently with child couple friend.
Aye, so my best friend from high school, who I am 3 months older than, Lil Ali, they've had a kid who is going to be 3 months older than our kid. So I'm just like, please consistently bring your baby round, just so I've got like 3 months.
Climatise.
Yeah, absolutely. And also just get used to it. Like, man, you know me, I love babies anyway, right? And if I love normal babies, and the baby of one of my best friends is like, you know, with Can and Gav.
You've already got affection for that baby, even though you don't know them. You're just like, you love that child.
Yeah.
It's there.
It's there. It's written in just the rules. So baby comes round. I love kids anyway, and I'm getting advice off Hallie because he's going through literally what I'm going to go through. But also we've got, Gareth and Cullen there, and because I've not been drinking for a bit, I was like to Gareth, I'll drink, I'll get drunk, I'll be good. And like, Cara doesn't mind, and because Laura wasn't drinking as well because she was coming late from work anyway. We've got a new board game, which Jean got us, which is absolutely exceptional, and it's going to throw a caveat for people listening to this.
And this is eight players.
It's between 5 and 10, but it's better with more players. So if you don't have many friends, this next part of the podcast is not for you. And I'm sorry.
Daniel, know your audience.
I do know my audience.
This is for literally nobody you're talking to.
No,
I'm just playing.
Sid didn't really listen to this.
I was just taking the piss. I was more insulting to us that you have to be super lonely if you like this podcast.
I was not kidding. I know who you are. I see you all. Secret Hitler. It's just
the game is called Secret Hitler.
It's called Secret Hitler, and in the game there's a secret Hitler and there's a bunch of secret fascists. It's the closest to In the Room Among Us that you can get, pretty much.
Good.
Yes,
good. That's a great game.
Yes, and it's a really, really good version of that, but except different in its own way. One of you is Hitler. 3 of you are, depending on the number of you, 2 or 3 of you are fascists. The fascists know who each other are. Hitler doesn't know who anyone is. Liberals don't know who anyone is. And you're trying to enact fascist policy, liberal policies. The rules sound complicated. They're not. It just involves being in a room and being good at lying and accusing other people. And when you get drunk, God, fuck me, does it turn into a good game. So we're...
Even when you're defending yourself and you know it's you, do you get so committed to your own lie?
Right, so here is...
that you feel affronted that you're getting called out on a lie.
Yeah, and also, like, Cara has this sixth sense, which I guess is a good sixth sense for her to have, which is whenever I'm a fascist, she's like, he's a Nazi this round. And I can lie my way out of it, because she does it so often that can be part of the fucking narrative. But it's good news that if I ever start to lean right in the future, Cara's going to be like, he's a Nazi now. Yeah. He woke up different this morning.
Yeah, just say that last line again. Say what you said. All journalists should be gassed. Oh no, that's how it...
Yeah, well, I mean, I didn't say gassed. I said killed. The gas would make it more specific. But I mean, you've touched on a very good point of what the game becomes, which is my favourite bit now, is to just play the whole game as a German socialist, but with a heavy German accent. And just be like, I love the Jews. The Jews are great. How could I be a little... Okay, I enact one fascist policy. I'm a Nazi. Come on. It's, so me and Gareth just do that.
You sound like the guy from Barry.
Yeah. God, when's the new season of that out, actually?
I don't know, but I think I've still got a season to watch.
It's very good. Anyway.
He's one of the best characters in anything.
Aye. Yeah. Well, to be fair, my German accent is just European... bad guy accent, it's very much James Bond rules with me when it comes to accents. So we end up getting quite drunk playing that game. Ali and Joanne leave because she had a cesarean birth, and that's like a real legit fucking surgery.
Like you've been through surgery.
Yeah,
like
it's not like you've been through surgery. You have been through surgery.
No, it's like it. It's like having an appendix removed. It's like having your tonsils out.
Yeah, except you get to keep the appendix.
Not the same, similar. You get to raise the appendix as your own.
You get to name it. It's good fun.
You wipe its bum.
Yep.
We've titled the podcast "Raising Your Appendix."
So the fact that she'd even come out to hang out,
She came out as gay after having a baby.
Yeah, she knew. She was like, "Man, I do not want anything white in my vagina again. It's fingers and tongues from here on in."
I thought I didn't like cock. Now I hate it. Look what it's done to my body.
Man, legit. Do you reckon that's ever happened? Somebody hated pregnancy so much they changed sexual orientation.
Well, there's none of that stuff with the.
Well, because man,
scissors in.
Yeah, I definitely reckon like people are born gay, obviously, but I do think people that were like just by somewhere in the middle on the spectrum were like pushed more over to one side because of experience with one gender. Like I reckon there's plenty of women out there who, I mean, it's the old hack fucking joke of Leslie who's like, oh, I'm done with men. But I do reckon that's probably true, and I also reckon it's true for some guys who are just like, I've had too many shite relationships with women, and you know what? At this point, it's cock from here on in.
Love me, mates.
Aye.
It's a practical reason. It's not sexually.
Maybe
it's not sexually driven. It's just look. I'm gonna be. I just want to hang around with my pal more.
Maybe I reckon
he fancies me, and it makes us feel good.
Aye, we get to play the same, and like I don't have to play just like boring 2-player co-op games. I can play we can play Gears of War together. I don't have to talk him into playing Gears of War. I have to be like, oh no, the lore's dead good. There is a girl in it. You'll like it.
I don't have to like get him into it through Astro's Playroom and then the Lego games. I don't have to do years of conditioning.
I could just straight in.
Here's the dumbest thing I've ever said, and I haven't said it yet.
I don't think that's true, but let's go.
You know how we were talking yesterday, the last podcast. If you listen to the last podcast yesterday, that is true to you and you only. When we spoke last week on the podcast, and you were talking about how the clit isn't just a clit; it's like a massive thing, and the bit inside. Do women ever get pleasure pushing a baby out? Like, and I know that's sort of the dumbest thing I've ever said because it's fucking horrifically painful.
Aye.
But is there ever a moment in that pain where I was like, ooh, on that spot? Elbow there, keep elbowing there, keep elbowing.
Probably, because man, you guys have got to remember, like, there are some people that are just like into pain, like they get off on pain themselves. So do you reckon anyone that's into like sadomasochism and stuff?
If you're into S&M during childbirth, is that paedophilia?
No, because you're not being turned on by the kid. It's nothing like the kid's involved, but not in any sort of sexual. It's the pain from the thing. That would be like, if your sadomasochism is you like fucking.
That's like, no, it's not the blowjob off the kid. It's the moisture in its mouth.
No,
like the kid's involvement is the paedophilic bit.
No. Like if you like fucking pain in your nipples, right, and a needle through your nipples, you don't get turned on every time you're at the tattoo thing, being like, "When you fucking stick that needle in my fucking nipple."
It's like the vibrations on the bus making you have a stiffy. You're not attracted to buses.
Yeah, you don't fancy buses, and you don't fancy the bus driver. Do I reckon? I reckon. Because I reckon you'd have to ask a doctor or a nurse, a midwife. Because I reckon they've seen everything. Every doctor I've ever spoken to is one. Obviously, let's do the clap for the NHS caveat that we have to put in. They're very brave, and God bless them all. And they do a job I'm not brave enough to do. Well done, all of you nurses.
Ridiculously underfunded.
Aye. Now that I've done that bit, fucking all of them are on drugs, though, aren't they? Have you ever met a doctor, a close doctor friend of yours, that hasn't done heaps more drugs than you have?
Mate, it's amazing when you meet teachers, and loads of comedians are teachers, and you're like, oh, fuck, you've been on acid the whole time. You've carried on your student life into teaching us.
Yeah. I don't know if I can't remember who I was talking to this about the other day. It's unimportant. But like this generation, by this generation, I mean yours and under, I think I would love to know the actual real stats for how many of us have done drugs / have done drugs regularly at one point in their life compared to all the other generations. Because based on nothing at all other than just conversations I have with people, I reckon it's 3 times as many. Mm-hmm. Like I think it's just, there was the generation of people that were like, oh, it's the devil's lettuce. Oh, and under no circumstance would you smoke it, and you can't be done.
This is your brain on drugs with a scrambled egg.
All that fucking indoctrination of all this shit to the generation of hippies that came before, like our parents, where it kind of came in a little bit, but they were still fucking vilified.
And it got stamped out.
To this generation, which is just, when it's the most common thing that you just assume that everyone is on. Like friends of, I don't want to fucking name who it is because it'll reveal who their sibling is, and I'm pretty sure they listen to the podcast. But they were like, man, there was one time I was out at a nightclub and my sibling who's like 5 years younger than me, like I'm the older brother, I'm out and like she's dancing on the night floor. I'm like, man, is this the time that I go and, you know, go offer a line of coke? And he's like, you know what, it's her birthday, you know, it's like she's 21, like I think it's, you know, it's let's go. And he goes up and she was already on coke.
And she's keeping it from him because why would she share it with her brother?
Because why would you share it? And again, it's just this most common thing. I'd love to know the actual fucking statistics of how many of, you know, because all my friends who are doctors, and when I say they're doing drugs, they're not doing drugs while they're on the job, but they're doing drugs because they are just trusted to deal with traumatizing shit day in, day out.
Life is hard, man, and the weekends here. I'm not even on call tonight. I'm going to get loose.
Why are you drinking? 7 children died this morning.
Enjoy that. Can I pour a bit of whiskey in?
I'll pour one out for the homies. You don't pour anyone out. You clearly need that.
Why did the children die? Were you drunk? Shit. Because I probably shouldn't encourage it then.
Aye. I can't remember how we got into this.
To excavate the conversation, as we do so finally, is we got onto that line of inquiry from women giving birth. So whether they get actually fucking satisfied from giving birth, I think is an absolute no. Right? Well, not an absolute no. I think there's small little things in there, but I don't think they would ever have admitted it, and I don't think the doctors would ever acknowledge it. Like, these doctors see you pissing shit. Do you think it's one of them things that just it never gets spoken about? It might happen from time to time, but it never gets mentioned, you know? Like, sometimes the bong water goes in your mouth. Or you drool in the bong water.
Yeah, aye.
And you're just like, well, look, like, let's not get into bong water politics.
Aye. Like, if we all really thought about how often our hands probably come in contact with piss, then then it would just be probably a bit sad.
Yeah, like, you know, when you're the urinal in Australia and you've got your shorts on and you feel it like splashing against the skin of your legs and you're like, oh, so my jeans are just covered in piss from day to day.
Yes, aye. Yeah, why do Aussies only have pissy toilets on the floor? What's that about?
The urinals that you don't know whether to stand on it or not.
Yeah, the one with that. We're talking about that fucking weird cattle crate that they have. Aye, what's that about?
Some people
Australia?
stand on it, and then everybody follows suit and stands on it, and some people don't stand on it, and everybody follows suit and don't stand on it. But nobody clearly knows what to do about it.
Aye. Why do you live like that, Australia? What's that? But then again, why do you live the way you live most of the time? I'll tell you why. It's because you like the sun, and that's enough for you. So
here's a question. Sorry, bookmark that. You know how sometimes you wake up with a morning glory still in your 30s? I thought it would be gone by now, right? But I'm 38 years old now. I sometimes get up, like, I had friends over, and I'm like, I want to go down and make myself a coffee, but I'm like, well, I've got a boner. I kind of just get up now and walk down in my pajamas. I have to, like, I go for a piss, brush my teeth, wait for it to go away, and then go and do my boner. Right?
Not all the time, not as like regular, like it was literally a sundial when I was younger. It was like regular clockwork. You wake up and you go, oh, it's 8 o'clock and I've slept in.
I've had it where I've been at Milo's before and his kids have ran in and started like fucking jumping and running and waking us up and that. And I'm like, I couldn't get up and play with you if I wanted to. It's fucking horrendous. Are you not concerned that like your baby's going to start crying, you've got a morning glory, and you've got to go and pick your baby up and you just stood cradling your baby with a boner? Because this must be a thing that happens to men that never gets mentioned.
I don't know about you, I saw my dad's cock fucking heaps when I was young.
He's erect penis?
No, it's a erect penis. Well, I don't know, maybe I blocked that out, but I definitely saw, like, because whenever my parents were having showers and stuff, because I was young, they're not locking doors. They need to be within instant access of getting close to me. And also, from a fucking young age, my parents would just, when we got the jacuzzi, they were just like, we're not wearing clothes in our own jacuzzi. And like, because who gives a shit? So I mean,
I noticed like different like families and houses have different nudity rules. Some are just like just free balling about the house, and it's not like I can't remember ever seeing my mum naked.
Nah,
I'm glad for that.
Aye.
Like, that's not there. Not that I have a visual imagination anyway. I couldn't bring it up and recall it if I so wanted to.
What about your dad's cock?
I do mind seeing my dad's cock because I used to get changed for swimming in the cubicles with him. So I had to get in the cubicle and change with my dad. So like, as I was older, I would change with my dad.
I think I think if my son were to ever see my erect penis, because I'm sure it does happen, and I'm sure it's just something that's like your brain goes, you're on You don't need this memory for the rest of your life, trust me, buddy. We'll just leave it in that fucking advert jingle. We'll leave that in there and we'll repress this. I imagine it's like you go, Dad, why is your penis like that? And then you as the dad, you've just got this awkward bit like, well, okay, well, sometimes during the night,
I'm just fucking horny for nothing. I just sometimes get horny out of nowhere.
Go on, do chin-ups on it. I fucking dare you.
I mean, sometimes it's not even horny. It's like Brendan Burns had a routine and put it where he's like, I need a shit and that's where my prostate is. There's shit pushing against my prostate.
I reckon there's... Jim Jeffries has a routine about his son just fucking slapped his cock when he came out of the shower. Like, it happens loads. But it's like, there is this one thing I've noticed is there is a contingent of people who are not parents who think everything is paedophilia. And there's also a contingent of parents who think everything's paedophilia. And their fears, I would say, are a bit more legit because, like, they're going to, like...
Do you think some of them are, like, homophobic people who just haven't admitted they're gay? They're getting thoughts and they're pushing them down and spitting them out.
Yeah, they're going, you're sexualising a child there. You're like, nobody here is sexualising the child. And if you think that's sexualising a child...
You've got something on your mind a lot of the time.
It's like, look, I don't know if you ever see this controversy whenever it comes up, but one of the ones I can remember was David Beckham and Victoria Beckham kissing their children on the lips, right? And people being like, that's fucking disgusting. You go, right, so none of your parents then. Like, it's bad. Like, teenagers, sure, right? And if you kiss your teenagers on the lip, I don't have questions for you. I've got questions for your teenager. And I'm like, do you know your parents can see you doing that? And you're fine with that? Cool.
If you blow raspberries on your adult son's belly.
It's questions for him. Like, unless you held him down and did it. And she's like, go on, Mum, I love this bit.
This isn't even an intimacy thing. It's an arrested development thing. Like, you both need to grow the fuck up. I saw breastfeeding on a train with a child that was old enough to say, Mum, get your tits out, I'm hungry.
And look, I have some opinions on like the age that it's okay to breastfeed until, but then again,
it's if you can undo the bra or not. There's the line, and it's still none of my business. But if I was a dad, I'd be like, should we probably stop breastfeeding them now before they're damaged as a human?
I do feel there is a little bit of weirdness if the baby is able to be like, left titty today, mama, not the right one. You know that's been bad for the past couple of weeks. And look, obviously, it's very important that all children are fed, and it doesn't matter if it's breast milk or not. Like fed baby is the best baby, but the kids. I
wouldn't want anybody to feel like they had to go and do it somewhere in private because of my tutting and judgment, because like that's not who I am. But I did judge the 6-year-old child with his adult teeth.
It's the same thing. But I see that as like you've not weaned them up. It's the same with a 5-year-old with dummies. You go, right, all right. Somebody's failed here. Like the dummies are until like
teenager that sucks their thumb. That's somebody didn't do a job on the way up.
A 14-year-old that still says biscotti. It's not you, buddy. It's not you. But your parents should have been enacting certain parental rules.
It's on you to fix it now, bud. Somebody didn't do their job. It's all yours.
Kissing children on the mouth is one of those things where, like, man, you can't stop a child. Like, that's what kids think kisses are. If you're fucking 6 or 7 years, and also, it's one of the very few years where your kids are openly going to show you fucking affection, and then you got all these people in the comments being, that's fucking sick. David Beckham kissing his daughter on the lips. You're like, you're the fucking pedo. You're the fucking pedo. Because what happened was, you saw a grown man kissing his fucking daughter on the lips, and you were like, fucking, that's
erogenous zones are touching.
Oh my God, Jesus, that must be fucking that's dead naughty, because there's something sexual in that. You've sexualized it because you're the fucking pervert. Don't project that onto David Beckham.
But I will project on the rabbi that sucks the blood off a circumcised penis.
Oh, yeah.
I am projecting upon that.
Yeah. Well, there's nothing medical about that. That's just you being a fucking nonce. But it's tradition.
That's not me just going,
bet it's a fucking tradition.
The innocent of childhood. That was just, Yeah, stop that. Stop that, guys.
Oh, that's not on.
Bad rabbi. Slap their lips.
So we ended up getting quite tiddly on New Year's. Played that game a couple of times, played a couple of other ones. And then I was the level of drunk, and I don't know if you do this, but sometimes I get drunker than I expected myself to get. Mm-hmm. And what I try to do is
deny it.
I try to convince not only everyone else in the room, but I also try to convince myself that I'm sober. So I do things I think a sober person would do at those points in time, which for me is often what I'll do is I'll get into my bed and I'll read my book and I'll just be like, this is what I do when I'm sober. I'll just...
And they're like, it's 9 o'clock at a house party, Daniel. Stop acting sober in bed with your book. It's really drunken behaviour right now.
No, it's like, man, 2:30 in the morning, me and Cara got to bed. Cara, stone cold sober, right? She's had half a glass of bubbly just at the bells, just so she could feel a little bit fucking normal, but that's it. And I'm up there and I'm talking shit and I can feel myself talking shit. I'm like, the only way I can convince her I'm not... She doesn't care that I'm drunk. She knows I'm drunk. But I'm just the only way I can convince her that I'm not as drunk as she thinks I am is to just keep talking more. And I just explain to myself over again and she stops listening. And the next day I was like, oh God, I was a bit drunk last night. She was like, you said Happy New Year to me 9 times.
Yes. Repetitive drunk. I've been really feeling that in myself lately, the repetitive drunk, when you keep repeating the same joke, because I've been hanging around like pregnant people a lot. And at the wedding with Natalie's 2 mates who are pregnant, I was like, oh, I was such a repetitive stage of drunk. I must have been so fucking annoying to them. Whereas you normally wouldn't be conscious of it because everybody else is in the same state. It's like having cameras on you, mate, dude. Like, oh no, you see yourself for who you are when there's a sober person there.
And it kind of helps you. I mean,
helps you improve, self-reflect.
Yeah, self-reflect and go, okay, I'll try and not get that drunk again. I'll try and...
I was pretty much the only one getting high at my New Year party because I sent us some of his new grow. I've just snitched on him. I had to bleep that out. Fucking what time is it? 2021.
Shall we try that down?
Yeah, please. So I got high and there wasn't back in. You know how he makes them glow sticks, like you can see the green through the paper, and it looks like it's just been doing the back of Homer Simpson's shirt. And I'm smoking that, and there was like because a couple of Natalie's mates and their boyfriends were there, and one of the lads come up and like had a bit of a talk with us, but I got like full on high. And when I was chatting to them, like it was that level of, you know, we've done it on the podcast a few times where you just fucking forget what you're saying while you're talking, and the way I got out of it is I just leaned into what I was saying and kept talking, and I was like, eventually you'll figure out what you're saying.
Oh no, that's the worst.
Oh mate.
No, because what happens is
I'd never met these guys. These were new people in my house.
And now they're old people who you'll never see again.
Class. Class, I'm not even bothered. They got the best of us.
Did they?
I owe them a you're welcome. You know me.
I'm
not going to overthink that shit. What a waste of my time.
No, but I do think there's the bit where, because I hate losing my train of thought when I'm sober, let alone when I'm fucking high. So I do try and work out like why I consistently do it. And obviously it's the drug abuse. But in other aspects, what it is you're telling a story, and what you do is your brain goes, here's an important bit of information, and you decide to add that bit on, but then you realise that needs context, and then you start explaining that, and then you've just forgotten what the story is. And even if you were to go back 2 stories, that was just 2 additional points ago, and you're like, what am I... And what you really just need, when you're stoned, is just... If you're going to tell someone a story, right, you get a notepad, right, and you go... That time Kai shat himself, and you go, can you just hold this on your forehead, please?
Aye,
right.
I'll get back to that.
Right.
Always return to that.
Yeah. So fuck, what was this? Oh, right. So he's running down the street, and every time you look back at them, but...
Oh, mate, I've realised as well, when I'm talking, because these are just like... It's Pippa's husband, Gary, who I've met a couple of times.
The last Gary.
It was at his wedding, the last Gary, right? And Steph's new boyfriend, Aaron, who our last husband was called Darren, and now it's Aaron. Try not to fucking make that mistake.
Right. So
what a minefield.
Well, the next one's going to be called Ron.
Ron.
And then the next, the N-word.
So these guys, like, they're from London. They work like the 9-to-5ers. They're regular people. We've probably put them in Muggle corner a couple of times.
Yeah.
Right.
The older I get, I'll let you continue the story. I realised every moment of my 30s I'm going to be in the corner.
Mate.
Yeah.
I went back through Muggle because I've been doing Rewind Wednesdays. Obviously, when we started touring again, I didn't have the time to sit down and do listening back to shit and editing it because we're fucking on the move and we're unpacking all the time, right? Like I'll reignite it now that I'm back in the house. But I listened back to Muggle Corner and I realised that like I was talking to me Like I feel like we're far cooler then. We've really become dads on these people. Our night. We used to be way more cathartic, I think, to listen to. But
Oh God, have we become the thing we hated? Is that?
But at least, like, let's do it with some dignity and some self-awareness.
I don't think we've done it with any dignity.
Admit to our hypocrisy.
Aye.
So,
I think we did it well enough in the fact that we were very open and we were like, look, Muggles aren't bad people, so we kind of saved ourselves that much. But
but we did also, like, we're pretty vehement
no,
towards
I
them.
was so angry.
So I'm chatting to these lads, right, and I realise how much every one of my stories sounds like bullshit.
Aye. What, you the spin doctor?
You know, when
King of spin, your story sounds like bullshit. This is news to everyone.
I hate this spin. I hate this particular spin.
But it's not spin at all. I can tell you, every time I do this bit, back at home, Matty's heart heals just a little bit, right? Goes back together slowly and surely every time I point at your fucking spin on.
Matty's poor damaged heart.
He's poor ticker. Your friends?
So I realised, like, because it was, I think Steph asked us about the charity gig that I'd done because it was Stephen Fry on and stuff. It's interesting. And then I started telling a story about rolling Johnny Vegas up in a rug. And just in the middle of telling stories like that, you're just like, this fucking sounds like nonsense.
And
when we're talking about David Schwimmer being at the New York gig, like, it just sounds like nonsense.
I mean, we do make it all up. None of it's true.
Brilliant work of fiction.
I was on I love my family very well. Oh, this is what I'll fucking tell you. So, you remember how you and my gran have a thing going on? Because
me and Jenny.
You sent her a book because you thought she ordered it herself, and it turns out she hadn't ordered it. Right?
I wrote a nice little message, and then she messaged me on Facebook.
And
I can't mind if I've replied or not. I might have ghosted her.
Oh, well, no, well, it doesn't matter.
Granddad.
It's because.
Oh, Jesus.
He's nowhere near him. It's become a big thing in my family because my aunt listens to the podcast, but not my Auntie Kim, who we were like, it's definitely my Auntie Kim. Turns out it was my Auntie Sandra that did that.
Oh, nice.
So we're on the podcast fucking roasting Kim, being like, that's obviously Kim. Sandra's at home being like, oh my God, it's not. It was actually me, ha ha. So we're doing a family Zoom call the other day just because my gran wasn't able to get anywhere for Christmas because of COVID and she can't take the risk and everything. And obviously the topic of the impending baby comes up. And they're like, have you thought of names? And I'm like, we've thought of a couple of names. We've got a list of things that we quite like as names. And they're like, can we hear them? I'm like, sure. And I go, so 3 out of our 4 grandparents, so that's me and Cara's combined grandparents, names were William. So we're like, boom. That's the middle name sorted.
Yeah.
Right. Both my grandparents are called William in some way or another. One of ours, I'm like, and we all love our grandparents, each of them class. So William, straight in, locked in. Say that, Kim gets fit.
And you wouldn't be keen on it as a first name?
No.
A little bit too royal.
Yeah.
A little bit too monarch.
Yes, aye. And also Willie. Kids, it's going to be a kid.
Willie.
Yeah, aye, and Willie is a penis, and it's just a bit dangerous. So middle name's fine; it's sort of hidden in there. One of the names that we liked was Noah, and I was having not debates with Cara, but she said Noah, and I initially said no, and she was like, "Why no?" And I was like, "I just don't want any."
I'm just a Noah.
Fuck you to hell.
I guarantee at least one person laughed.
You listening back to this in 4 years' time when you're doing the replay episodes.
at me if you laughed.
I'm like, I don't really like the name Noah. She's like, why not? I'm like, I don't like any sort of biblical names. And she went, Matthew and Daniel. And I was like,
yeah.
Oh yeah, all right, fair enough. But you know what I mean? Like Noah's an actual story. And she was like, Daniel and the Lions. I'm like, could you stop winning this argument, please? You're making it really fucking hard to die on this hill.
I meant Noah, Jesus and Moses. I don't like the star players.
Aye, come on. Not the fucking bench. But I eventually came around to it because I think Noah's a very nice name.
But then you found out that you're basic bitch and it's the most common name in Scotland.
that was one of the factors. It's not even one of the most common names in Scotland. It's like one of the most popular baby names in the world. But my mum said as well, she's like, just to let you know, the year that I was born, Jack was born, and Matthew were born, they were the most popular names of the year then as well.
Well, Jack and Matthew in that way.
Yeah. Not intentionally, but...
You know what? Noah doesn't feel that common, so there must be loads of baby Noahs that we haven't met yet as people.
It's just like that. It's only in like 15 years are we going to go, fucking hell, there's a lot of Noahs around. So it's my mum's like, it didn't affect any of you. Nobody gives a shit. Like, you'll be fucking fine. Name it Noah. And I'm like, okay, that's a good point. You're sort of keeping me on Noah here. Let's say you're a bully, right? Go back to your childhood years and there's a...
No Willie. No Willie. Is that why you're not calling your kid Noah Willie?
No Willie Sloss.
No Willie Sloss.
You can't call him No Willie Sloss.
That's what you name your daughter.
You can't. And I really like the name Noah, and I can't not give my son the middle name William because I loved my granddad, Carol. I was like, I can't have No Willie Sloss.
Billy Noah, mates. So you still haven't got a name? Time's ticking. Just call the kid Kai. One day I'll not be around and it'll be really sentimental.
The problem is, I said after fucking Chelsea won the Champions League because like
anybody's gonna fall for that. I meant the player, the German player that had a flop. He had a flop of a season. Remember, he scored a hat-trick in the Carabao Cup and then in the Champions League final done nothing in between or since. I named him after him.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if he's done anything before or since. The fact is, he won us the fucking Champions League, and I put a post on Instagram before we knew Cara was pregnant. She was definitely pregnant at the time. We just didn't know she was pregnant. And I was like, such a shame that I have to call my first child Kai. And then 3 weeks later, I found out that Cara was pregnant. So,
can you call the variation of the name Kai?
Kaya, no, Kaya.
Huh? Kayan.
Kaya.
That's what one of my friends used to call me, Kayan, at school. Now I think back, I don't think they were my friends. Kayan. It was our son listens to the podcast. It was Tracy who we met down in Guildford.
Because the nicknames I obviously got bullied with at school. And when I say bullied, I didn't get bullied that too much. Like, I think, look, I'll be honest, I got bullied a bit, but I also, in retrospect, probably did my fair bit of bullying as well, because it was my only form of defence, and I'm not necessarily proud of some of the things I called other people. They were funny, but, you know, kids are cruel, and I was one of those cruel kids. My mum grew up with the nickname because her name was Leslie Roger, Lesbian Rogerer.
Did you get that at school?
All the time.
Lesbian, click on. She didn't manage to get out of school before anyone realised that.
Lesbian Rogerer.
Because I got out of school before someone realised my name sounds like dry hump cheese.
Oh man! Just on the last day of school, you all throw your hats up in the air like they're handing. I pretend you went to American school. You go up, you collect your diploma.
I got a scholarship.
You go up, you collect your diploma. Ross Noble's mum is like, and now collecting his diploma is dry drum cheese. Oh, so I got that up, and then just like all the kids, there's murmuring as it spreads around the school. Oh my god, dry hump cheese.
All the opportunities lost.
Oh my god, get him! And you're just running down the street. Aye.
It was a girl called Laura May East who told us that my name was Rainbow.
You mean Laura Gay Beast?
You're a gay beast. She told us that. I was like, well, yours sounds like you're a gay beast.
Oh god. I only got stuff like, slush puppy. All right, don't do an actual fucking spit take as if that's fucking groundbreaking.
That was like a pet name. Your bullies give you like a sugar plum name.
Slush puppy? No, because it was, I've been in retrospect.
Honey bunny. Aye. That was what you got bullied with.
No, because it meant I was cold and sweet.
Slush puppy.
My mum had the worst ones. Hers was always Hugh Sloss, useless.
Who?
Useless.
Why did your mum get that?
No. My mum's she's like things you can never call your son. If you've got the second name Sloss, Hugh Sloss, useless sounds like useless. You can never call your kid Dental. Candy.
Dental Sloss. Why that common name, Dental?
Well, Daniel's very close to it.
It is actually.
Yeah, Candy Sloss. If I had a little stripper.
So I
get bullied with it. I mean, yours was just
Bong Ai Kai.
Bong Ai Kai. Aye.
Yeah.
Why Kai the now?
Huh?
Like I don't know.
My name got lengthened to Kibosh. Ochai, the new. Ochai, but that was less common. That was more like the parents would call us that.
Okay, that
The
was
parents of bullies.
still joining in.
No, it was like more like my dad, my granddad, and all that. Ochai, the new. Tarkai, the otter.
Eh?
There's an otter called Tarkai or something. I think it's Tarka. Tarka the otter.
Where's
That's
he
just
from?
a local thing. Is that like Kielder or something?
Aye.
I don't know if like there's some like story like Kess. Kess, the story with the kestrel. I mean, the clues in the name. Falcon Hawk. It was one of them birds anyway. It was called Kess.
Kess the Phoenix. You remember the story? Childhood favourite. Oh, you know what? No, I do. I don't think I read it, but I do remember seeing
Because
book cover.
talk at the otter, but tar in Geordie is thank you.
Oh,
Tar.
okay.
So like if I bring someone a cup of tea, tar kai, the otter.
Got you. Okay.
And then lengthened to Kibosh and then shortened to Bosch.
Natalie, get any
Fatly off you.
fatly off me? Aye.
Where she didn't know who you were when you called her that.
Aye. Which is fair enough. And also,
Because
like,
you called it Fatly and Kai Plumfries.
yeah. And also, it wasn't because I thought she was fat. Look, the joke doesn't have to make sense. It just has to scan. And that's why I'll make, like, I do have to explain to people, like, I don't mean 95% of the mean things I say. The reason I say them is because the joke scans and I'm just going to get it out because it scans. I know the joke doesn't work. I know if you were to analyze it, it doesn't get through. But it doesn't matter. It's not for analysis. It's in that brief moment where the joke works. It's like a firework. I don't care about the fucking thing falling down or how many birds it kills or how many dogs are crying under tables. In that brief moment, it's magical, it works. Let's not overanalyze it.
Well, because of that joke, I managed to get the correct size of wedding ring from the
Yes.
ripple effect. Because
The ripple effect of her jumping in a pool, fat cunt. Sorry, Natalie. I'm sorry. I don't mean. You see, just in the moment, I don't mean that.
so we sent you a picture of us giving you the middle finger.
Yes.
And what we did in Australia when she was 4,000 miles away is showed the jeweler the picture, and he took a measurement of my finger in the picture, a measurement of her finger in the picture, and expanded the ratio so that you could get a measurement of me and then ratio it down to her finger.
Mad.
And so you calling her a fat cunt helped us marry her.
See?
Just because you're knocking her confidence.
You're welcome, Natalie. You're very, very welcome. Lang's not really Wang.
So funny because it's laying
Laying.
is how she pronounces it, right? And I've mentioned called laying on stage before, and somebody shouted back Lang.
I think it is laying because the eye's in there.
Somebody shouted back Lang, and I was like, it's laying, L-A-I-A-G, laying, and they were like, that's Lang, and like it was in Glasgow Stand, right? And I went, she's from the Mains, and they were like, oh right, okay, she's posh. So it's like almost as if she's like saying Bath or Raspberry.
Aye. It's like, you ever seen that fucking child's kids shop that's called Smith's, but it's spelt with a Y?
Smythes. Not for you, that.
Nah.
Would you
Nah.
pronounce it Smythes or is it Smith?
It's Smith. Right, it's Smith and I'm angry at you. Right, it's not. Right, it's like one of those ones where you've just done that fucking thing. It's Cassandra with a K. No, it's not. Your parents were just fucking. They were so desperate to be unique, they just changed the spelling of a name. That's all that happened. It's Smythe. It's Smith. It's Smith, and just go to just. You've embarrassed yourself, and your family's embarrassed themselves for generation and generation. Go to the deed poll office and just change it to Smith. And none of us will mention it again. You just spelled it wrong for it. That's fine. People make mistakes. Smythe isn't a name, and if it was a name, it's a Tory name. So off you go on, get it changed. Go on now. Stop being silly. Go on.
What about like with Humphries? Like you've got IAS, like it's a plural, like Humphries, but then there's the Humphries with an EYS. Like that stemmed from the same name, didn't it? And somebody just got it wrong and kept it wrong.
Yeah,
for like a whole generation.
Yeah, and then now it's
the etymology of stuff like that, like the Smythes and Smiths.
Yeah,
it's just somebody fluffing it.
And I guess I don't mind second names so much because I'm like, that's
they've been passed on for a long time.
Yeah, long time. Fair play, but man, any of the fucking this new generation of is Zach with a K? Oh, is it short for Zachary? No. Yes, it is.
It is.
You don't get Eli. What's it short for? Nothing. No, it's short for Elisha. You don't get to change the fucking rules.
I like you wouldn't put like a formal email with like totes in.
Oh, just aye.
Emosh. It's that, isn't it? You've just done like a totes emosh with a name.
Aye, and
Is what you've done.
It's just look. Your kid's nickname can be anything. Your nickname can be anything you want it to be, right? But there are names that are. And by the way, this is a stance that is absolutely ridiculous. Like the more I have this in public and with people, they're just like. But you know, like names are just noises that we make to make each other hear. Like none of it matters. I'm like, yeah, of course. Like if we were to look at it that logically, of course I sound insane. But I'm dead passionate on this point. It's got to be names should be spelled fucking correctly.
I was listening to a Stuff You Should Know podcast on the way here. It was the one about horoscopes.
And was the Stuff You Should Know that they're bollocks and everyone who believes in them should be shot dead because they're stupid and they're causing a dumbing down of the entire fucking planet?
It's pretty much the podcast.
Good.
It's really good. But they did say that they want to do a podcast on the idea that your name can shape you because like the vibration and the sound and like how that like obviously they'll get into the debunking of it.
Aye.
But apparently that's a line of inquiry is that your name can shape you. Because of how
maybe
that
if your name
sound makes you feel.
Yeah, if you grow up being called King James as opposed to Gimp Lord, I imagine you're going to have very different fucking childhoods and different, it might affect your confidence as you grow up through life. But
all you need to do is look at Tom Hanks's children. Chet Hanks wears a backward hat and has full sleeves, and Colin Hanks wears a suit and carries a briefcase. They just filled their names.
Aye.
They leaned into their names completely.
Yeah, like I figured, like if you...
So you made it, even with that in mind, just the social around it, like you might want to bear that in mind when you're naming a kid.
Like if you reckon if I were to call my kid Tarquin, there's just no way he's not grown up a Tory.
Well, that's why you're avoiding Tory names, because you're worried that they're also going to come from money, and you're going to have this like second generation Tom Horton.
Aye. Because that is something that, like, I guess white people never have to take into, well, not never, but very rarely have to take into consideration is how is this name going to affect my child's, career chances in the future? Because I know many of my friends, non-white friends, their parents were like, your name is Chris, it's Stephen, it's Rebecca. Your actual name, your Turkish name is, Can, all my friends, but we're going to give you the name Troy, because if you have the name Can Edige, you're never going to be given a fucking job in your life in the UK.
There was a bit of that when Natalie and Alexander were named.
Aye.
Natalie's mum and dad were like, let's give them British names rather than Omani names, because on an application form for a job, they're going to at least get looked at.
Aye. I do
that was like 80s thinking. It probably still is alive now to an extent, but less than it was then when they made that decision.
Having never applied for a job since I was 16 years old, I'm pretty sure, based on nothing other than my gut feeling and hope, that nowadays, it's less of that. Like, I don't think, or at least the way the world should be is like your gender's not there, your name isn't there.
Yeah, that shouldn't reach.
Yeah, it should just be what are your actual fucking qualifications, and also when you're interviewing them, you should have to interview them like with your eyes closed and your ears blocked, so you can't hear what they sound like or see if they're a man or a woman, and then you just throw a dart at not a picture, just one of them, and whichever one it hits. Hire them.
The girls were talking. I was very high, and I can't really remember my own stuff that I was saying. But I heard the girls talking about because a lot of them are in transitional periods and changing jobs and stuff, Natalie included. When they're looking at jobs, sometimes the salary isn't on there; it doesn't open with it, and then they start discussing the salary kind of after the fact, and they still think that this is a way that they can discriminate women without discriminating women. If they put the figure on and then people went for it, then that's across the board, that's what the figure is, but they feel like they're getting fed a different figure than a man might get, because they might end up going and having children, or they might so they feel women still feel like they're not safe from.
Jean, when she was applying for, she was getting a new job where she was being headhunted by another job, one of the many moments I've been very proud of her as a person was all the women at her work, the ones that were hired, and both works, the one she was leaving and the one she was maybe going to, were just like, here's how you go in and talk about salary, and this is how you do it, and just went in there. And again, I've never asked for a raise in my life because I don't know who I'd fucking ask. It's not something.
Yeah, but men are way more likely to ask for a raise.
Aye.
It's just
except my fucking dad, right? My dad is such a fucking shy cunt, right? Right? I done it. he's very, very smart, right? But he doesn't push himself forward for anything. Apparently, like a couple of years ago, his boss walked in and was like, "What are all these patents under the company name?" And my dad was like, "Oh, sometimes when I'm stay late in work, I just get bored and I patent things, and these are just some of the patents." And the guy was like, "You know, you made the company X amount of money from these." And I was like, "Oh, cool." He's like, "Why have you not asked for a raise?" And my dad was like, "I can get a raise."
I get paid.
Like, this is God. I was just here to use the computer. So I think there is also just a type of person out there. Because man, I would be fucking mortified. That's why I have an agent. I would be fucking mortified asking for a raise. Don't think I would have the fucking confidence to do it. I don't think, man. The reason I couldn't ask for fucking gigs, especially early on in my fucking career. I could do the open spots, but Netflix, can I? Daniel Sloss here. Probably not heard of me. Just up and coming comedian in Scotland. Just wondering if oh god, this is awkward. Do you want to do my Netflix specials? Oh, sorry, I should have called them Netflix specials. They're just specials at this point. Oh god, that's good. No, for no money. It's fine. No, it's.
I'll pay you. I've been dead proud of Natalie because she's been looking for other work and trying to figure out what she wants to do. And I've seen her do 2 job interviews now where she's finished the job interview and then failed them.
Oh yeah.
She's just went, here's where you failed.
Aye, here's why you're shite.
Here's where you didn't get us.
Aye, here's why you're shite, and that's why I'm not going to work from you. You shouldn't have asked me that. You shouldn't have asked me that, and that was sexist. Bye.
Yeah. You made us put a shirt on for a Zoom interview. You made us go away and put a shirt on and you're like, is this going to affect my productivity and my quality?
Aye, whether you can or cannot see what text. Do I have to stub this fag out? Is that what you're saying? For this interview? Fucking the state of you. Let me.
You want us to stop breastfeeding this dog?
Fine, I'll put a fucking tie on it. But just so you know, I am done with this fucking job.
Yeah, shove it up your ass. You can't not employ me, I quit. So she's getting into coding now. Aye, she's starting a code academy. She's gonna be like Izzy Morales from
Code Academy sounds way cooler than it definitely is. Like, so much so that I don't think you're allowed to call it Code Academy. Code Academy sounds like in 10 years' time when they're trying to make more money out of the Matrix and they just decide to put it in and they try to get kids involved. They're like, okay, Keanu Reeves' son, Brian Reed, who gives a shit what his name is, in the new season, Code Academy.
What, so you're not going to buy Peggy Coin then? You're not going to buy the Peggy. Is that what you're saying? You're not going to buy the Peggy Coin?
Because Dogecoin was taken, you paid Peggy Coin. Peggy Coin, much like it's not a real Dogecoin. It's not. It's just it's a cheap fucking rip off. Have you listened to that fucking Behind the Bastards? One on cryptocurrency and NFTs.
Yes, I listened to the first episode because I didn't know what NFTs were, and you were talking about, and this is like digital art that can't be replicated.
Yes,
it's got like a specific code signature.
Well,
on
it can. It can be. It's a scam.
Well, you just copy and paste it. You just drag it into a folder. I'm not sure. I don't know.
I've never got into cryptocurrency. I've never got into it because it is
screen capture it.
It's just well, cryptocurrency is just gambling. But but I know people that are into it, people that I respect, and they like it. But my dad's always been like, it's all fucking, it's stupid, and it's so. That's why my stance was, I'll not get into this. But I do think cryptocurrency is astrology for men. I do, right, it's that. Right, you just you go, I'll go this one, what about this one, that, with that, and you're like, oh, you're all stupid and you're all involved in it. But fine, makes you happy, I'll not ruin it. The second I fucking saw Jake Paul, because I follow Jake Paul, or at least when I was on Instagram, I followed Jake Paul on Instagram because I like hate fuels me, and it's important to remind yourself that there are people in the world that you have to outlive.
It's like following Trump on Twitter.
Yeah, no, it's very important to find people that you hate in life so that living is worth it. To just know the fact that I might get to live to see Jake Paul die, and that will be a great day for me. Right? And it might not be for other people, probably won't be for his family and friends and people that fucking like him. But I can tell you objectively, on that day, I'm going to go.
You won't find forgiveness in your heart when he dies?
No. No. What? To what end? Why would I harbour it for so many years and then just waste it? What a fuck. Grow gross. That'd be like saving whiskey for 40 years and then going, gluck, 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 down the drain. No.
I was doing that when when the fireworks were on the telly, because we're just like, we're having my New Year and like doing the countdown and having a drink and saying cheers, and I look over and the fireworks on the telly and I was like, just pretended it wasn't New Year, and I was like, oh, Thatcher died again. Says yes, Thatcher died. Yeah.
Just hey.
It's flown by. Life has been so good since she's died.
The second I saw Jake Paul posted about NFTs, I was like, oh, it's a scam. Like the second I was like, I know all that you are, and there's just certain people when they get behind things, you go, oh, okay.
Oh, you do that for money, not belief.
Yeah. And it's anyway. If you never listened to Behind the Bastards podcast, it's one that I consistently fucking recommend on this. And if you
I listened to the Bezos one as well. First one of that.
If like me, you didn't know if you don't know anything about cryptocurrency or NFTs and it doesn't make fucking sense to you, there's 2 really good podcasts on it, and it will give you enough of a knowledge that when your friends are talking about it in a bar while drunk, you can roll your eyes in a way that makes sense. And it's just good for that.
I find it funny after listening to the stuff you should know about horoscopes that they, because when you say the horoscopes have changed now, they're not what they were when they got set. I didn't know what that was like, right? So the sign that you're born in is the constellation that's behind the sun. Like as you're looking at the sun at the other side of the sun, that's where that sign is. But because the Earth's on it kind of wobbles on its axis, they've shifted over the years. So if you're a Cancer, chances are now you're a Gemini, right? Because when that year when you were born,
and that actually explains why when I was a kid, I was actually just so cool and chill. But now that I'm an adult, right, when that changed, that explains why I've got 2 personalities now. Because in the morning I'm a different person than I am in the evening, and that only really happened when I was 16, which according to the math and science, which astrology is based on, I'll have you know, it does make sense for my personality.
So anybody that's getting confirmation bias off their Cancer star sign, right? You go, you're looking at the wrong one, because in 83 when you were born, that was actually Gemini, that was behind the sun, so you were born in Gemini. Then you would look at Gemini and do exactly what you've done there and put the confirmation bias to it, which is just it's almost proven to themselves that it's bullshit by getting behind the wrong star sign every fucking time. Everybody that's into star signs backs the wrong star sign and gives it confirmation bias, proving that they're nothing like the star sign they're meant to be.
Aye, and then I know this is... I do understand, because I don't know if it was Natalie that said it or whether it was just a tweet, but somebody was just pointing out men make fun of women for being into star signs when we're into so much other boring dumb shit, and it's man, if it's just something you're into because you like it, fucking fair enough, but some of you fucking cunts legitimately and wholeheartedly believe it, and that's what fills me with rage. It's the same rage I feel towards anyone that genuinely believes in God.
That was Natalie with the horoscopes, because we had Gav and Ali around, and they were talking Natalie's language with horoscopes, right? But when they left, she was like, I don't really believe it. It's for her, that was she enjoys watching the wrestling. And then 2 people come around and talk about it like it's cage fighting. It's that's not the level
I know it's not real. I know it's not real. I just think the Attitude Era was really good. Stone Cold Steve Austin facing off against The Rock.
The Rock defined my childhood. Creaky chair.
Aye,
it's my job.
Oh.
We're going to get into Gloomhaven again. I'm dead excited. I'm fucking excited about this game now.
I love it so much.
There's a digital version which we're going to stay away from with this group, because we all live close enough to play it on the board, and we'll keep the romance of it and play it on the board. But we need to get a game going with Elliot and Tom. Remember, we had Dungeons and Dragons over Zoom. I think we need to take Gloomhaven online so we can play it more.
But yeah. Or do it with Frosthaven, or because if it's the same scenarios,
spoilers.
I don't wanna,
there's going to be spoilers in the game.
Yeah, aye.
Okay,
I
so a second playthrough.
Aye, or maybe once we're fucking 30 into this campaign, then we can delay it. Then it's when I was doing multiple D&D sessions. I would do one group for 10 sessions as the DM, and then start another group, and it's right, because you can now go a different way. You can do it in a different enough way that
there's enough separation.
Aye.
So just to everybody listening, if you heard we're talking about Gloomhaven in the last couple of episodes and you want to play it, but like you just can't figure it out with your busy life, you can play it digitally now.
Yeah, and if you don't have any friends, which we know you don't,
you can play it solo.
You can play it solo. You can have a wee fucking solo masturbation sesh.
And I'm going to do a computer game recommendation while we're here. Hades.
Gareth's been speaking about this for ages.
I heard it first off Rooney, and then Gareth mentioned it. Wayne Rooney.
Wow,
he thought I was Kai Rooney. He got us it for Christmas. Dead awkward.
Man, so good. And you were just sat there being like, "Oh no, you have a Switch."
So I hate it. It's fucking remarkable. I platinumed God of War 4.
Aye,
I platinumed it.
well done.
That's a big achievement. You didn't want to turn 38 and not still get fucking hard over platinum in games.
What was it we
Otherwise
were
you've
just
lost
saying
the
about
joy.
how men, there's an equivalent for astrology for men? Some stupid belief system that ultimately doesn't matter but fills somebody with...
When you get platinum on a PlayStation game,
Here we
right,
go.
I've only gotten it twice, right?
Oh, go.
Horizon Zero Dawn,
Superb game.
right? The new one comes out soon, so fucking get in that. God of War, right? It's the only two that I've platinumed. Have you ever platinumed a game?
Yes.
Have you seen how underwhelming it is?
Yes. Oh, it's the worst. I think I've only platinumed one game, and that's why I stopped, was because...
No party pop.
For anyone that doesn't know, platinum, it just means when you buy a game on Xbox or PlayStation or PC or whatever it is, there's a bunch of achievements you can do. So even when you complete the game, you've only completed 55% of the game. You've done the
completed
campaign.
the story.
Yeah, but you've not done it on the hardest difficulty. You've not killed 4 men with 1 bullet. You've not had a grenade go round the corner and destroy a plane. You
haven't shot all of the hidden ravens that are dotted around the map. You haven't killed all the Valkyries.
Yeah, so platinum... much like being a platinum gay means you've got all the achievements and you've never touched a vagina. so when you platinum a game, it means you put so much effort into it, you couldn't even describe what a vagina looks like because it's been so long.
Nah, you couldn't draw it from memory.
After a guy platinumed the game, he got into bed and Natalie tried to touch his cock and he had no idea what was going on.
I think, who are you? What is that? God of War is a specifically hard one because beating all the Valkyries is like that's 11 bosses to make one final boss that takes all day to
Does he
complete.
kiss his son on the lips in God of War?
Atreus, boy, give me a kiss on the lips, boy.
People, men at home being like, fucking what a pedo this is. He's a sick man, he is. He's just, go and cut that cutscene back again just so I can see what a fucking pedo this guy is while he kisses his son on the lips. A fucking nonce, oh yeah.
Where do you, boy? So I complete the story mode, so you get the cutscene, you get the bit where like Thor makes an appearance, who's not in the thing, but he's going to be in Ragnarok, the next one. So you get all the fanfare from doing the story mode, and then on the extra, I've been doing it for months, just going back and chipping away at it, playing other games in between, right? And then it was the Ravens. I was at 97%. I needed to get the Ravens, right? I found the last Raven. I shot the last Raven, and then it just flashed up in the top corner of the screen. Father and son achievement. That's what they called it on that one. Platinum. And it fades away from the screen, and you're just left stood there, feathers everywhere.
What they should do is just turn your television off and just show you your own reflection, and you're like, oh no.
It's the guilt. It's like the guilt after a wank. It's like you stood there with a fucking messy hanky in your hand and you're still hard but not horny. You need to wash your hands before you shake hands with a sound tech at the gig.
I don't think I can tell anyone about what I just did. It felt good at the time, but I don't think I can ever boast about this.
And I did boast about it. I whacked through just in our hands in my jolly pocket. Kicking, I just platinum God of War. And Natalie knew how much she meant to it and feigned excitement for us and give us a hug.
That's a good wife.
She was like, oh, baby. Daniel, I'm telling you right now, it meant a lot. I'd put a lot of hard work in, and it was a very lonely effort.
And you've got the fact after this, after she, bless her, feigns all this excitement for your achievement, you've got the fucking gall to be like, I'm going to listen to a podcast about how this bitch's hobby's bullshit. And then I'm going to go to my podcast and I'm going to fucking slam the thick cow.
Justify mine.
Aye. Oh.
So I recommend Hades. I've just done that. We talked about Spirit Bridge last one. I'll come on because we've got leisure time now. We can come on with recommendations for what we've been doing in our leisure.
We do have 2 shows this month, just Cambridge and Aberdeen. There's been some confusion on the website about when the Aberdeen date is, because on my website it says one date and on my schedule it says another. So allow me to just go into my messages from Marlena. So it's on the Thursday the 27th of January. If you're coming to the Aberdeen gig, it's Thursday the 27th on the website. It was down as Friday the 28th, but it's not. And we've
Which one is it?
Aberdeen.
No, which date?
It's the 27th.
It's the 27th.
It's the 27th. 95% certain on that one.
So we're picking up the gigs that have been dropped, Aberdeen and Cambridge.
Yeah,
there is still some other ones that are
just being rescheduled.
And
look, to everyone, the reschedules are as annoying and as devastating to us as it is to you. I know it's not fucking fun for things to be cancelled or to be delayed so much when you bought them so long ago, and it's perpetually and consistently put further away. Also, to the people of Perth, Australia, sorry that was finally cancelled, but there was no way I was getting over to Australia
with a newborn.
There's just not a chance. Not with the rules of getting over there and coming back. It's just not possible. So I promise I'll be back to Perth on the next tour.
We'll be back to stand up in no time. There'll be shit happening. Just not in January. We're going to be playing a lot of PlayStation and watching a lot of films.
I'm playing a lot of Gloomhaven. Let's go back to Cullen.
Let's get back to Cullen.